guys, James here, back with another video. It's been a while since I've actually done a video. This is a new setup. You can see this is my new studio setup. I've got my computer behind me. I've got some new lighting. So hope this is good. Hope you guys enjoy it. Now today we've got a Dell monitor. It's the P2419H. Now if you've been following my channel, I actually did a video of the P2417H. So that's the 2017 model. Now let me explain what this code actually means. There is a meaning behind it. Dell have three different series of monitors. They have the S series, the P series, and the U series. S series is like your standard generic baseline model. Your P series are your professional series, and then your U series are your Ultrasharp series. Now P is kind of like where I find the middle ground, where you want a decent quality monitor, but you don't need the flashy Ultrasharp color accuracy. 24 is the size, 24 inch. 19, that's the year. So I did the P2417, so that's 2017. This is a 2019 model. And finally, the H stands for HD, or Full HD, so 1920 by 1080. Now, another thing which I forgot to mention was that as part of the professional series, that's when they start implementing IPS panels. Essentially, IPS stands for in-plane switching, and it allows you to have a much wider viewing angle without loss of contrast and color. So when you're talking about environments where you're using multiple monitors at different angles, then you definitely want to be looking into investing into an IPS screen. So that's why I recommend the professional series. So we're just going to do a quick unboxing video, quick look, and see what we get inside and how it looks like. Now I got this monitor for $250 on sale, but the average price is around $300. So we've got our instruction sheet on how to actually set this monitor up and everything. Other documentation, safety, regulation information, don't need to worry about that. The cables, we have an IEC cable. This is your standard IEC. You also get full-size display port. And finally, a USB 3 upstream cable, upstream and downstream. Next is the monitor stand. So they've recently upgraded this. So they've made these monitor stands a lot thinner compared to last time. So we'll just quickly assemble it. Very, very simple. Just make sure that the front is facing forward. And then you just match these two bits together. And then they just have this little thumb screw. Just flip that up. And just away you go. And just tighten that. Don't need to use a screwdriver or anything. That's good enough. And this is your monitor stand. Finally, we have the monitor itself. We'll just get this out. So this is your monitor. You have 100 by 100 VESA mounts, and it does come with the screws, which is really great. You've got the button to release from the stand. We'll look at that later. Now let me show you what's at the back. So your back is pretty standard, very similar to the previous models. You have your IEC input, and you have your HDMI input, display port, full-size display port input, and VGA. You've got USB 3.0 upstream, downstream. You have two USB 2.0s, and on the left side of the monitor, you have your standard USB 3.0 ports as well, which is nice and handy. Now with the ports here, they do have the labels shown, so you can know what's HDMI, what's display port, VGA, USB as well. So if you're trying to struggle to reach it from behind, you don't have to look underneath. You can look at it like this. Now on the bottom right side of the monitor, you have your power button as well as your four selection buttons. These are hard buttons, which is really, really great. I love that. And finally, you have your Kensington lock on the back right side of the monitor. Now you got a 5-star energy rating, 63 kilowatt hours per year, which is great. Now to attach the monitor to the stand, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is, you can see here, so if you give it a shot, there's two slots you can see for the teeth. Essentially all you have to do is just line it up like so, and then you can hear that snap into place. And if you want to remove it, you just press this button. Hope you can see it. There's a button here. You press this, and then it's released and you can take it off. Very lightweight, so it's not too heavy, which is good. So let's put this back on. Now in terms of the stand itself, you also have a hole for your cable management. So this allows you to route all your cables. So for example, we'll just use this power cable here. Okay, so we can loop it through this hole here. Okay, so if we put it like that, We hang these cables down at monitor height. Now you can't see the cables hanging here. Now I just want to quickly go through the basic functions of the stands. So you do have going up and down, very easy to move, very easy to manipulate, and it stays in place. The spring is specially weighted for this monitor. Now you do have rotation this way as well as rotation this way. That's really good if you want to have a portrait screen. Highly recommend if you never tried that to try it out. But yeah, it can't go beyond that. So it can't go a 360. So you can't have an upside down monitor. The only way to do that is if you have a separate monitor bracket arm. Now in terms of tilt, you do have some degree of tilt. So this is the maximum tilt of upwards. This is maximum tilt downwards. So if you were to have this up, this is what it would look like. So I just realized I accidentally forgot to mention that this stand does have a pivot. So this is just some old footage that I took from another Dell stand, essentially the same thing. But as you can see, I'm demonstrating the degree of pivot that it does have. So you can pivot the stand without having to actually physically move the base itself, which is really handy. I just want to give you a quick look at this. You can see that it's a completely flat screen, which is really great. The borders are pretty much flush against the screen, and that just makes it look really, really nice compared to the other one where there was this thick back border and then there was a bit of a recession. But as you can see here, pretty much no border, and with the top camera, there's only a bit of that lip at the bottom here. Really, really nice monitor. Now, a good use for the USB ports, you may think, you know, what's the point? If you do have, like, for example, like a wireless keyboard and mouse, or even a wired keyboard and mouse, then that can be connected to the monitor rather than your PC case, which may be on the floor, maybe somewhere else. This just gives it easy access to a USB port here. Now, on the side, the left side, it does have the USB 3.0 ports. So that's really good if you've got, like, if you have one monitor, or even dual monitors, you just won't be able to use the second one. You can plug a USB in there as well. Okay, so this is the screen. I wanted to show you the menu. As you can see, it's got an anti-reflective coating on it, which is really, really nice. Rejects a lot of the glare. Now, when you first start up the monitor, it does get you to select what language. So, and these are the different controls. So we'll select English, of course. And I've got my computer connected, so that's that now. So we're going to enter the menu and we'll see what options we have. So pressing on the buttons, we can see that these are the default. So this is to do with color. So we can have different views. So we have the standard, comfort view, movie view, game view, warm, cool, custom. Custom allows you to go in and change the RGB, so red, green, blue. So this gives you custom control setup, but we're going to leave it as default and we're going to go back to the standard view. Now this one is your input source collection. So we can go from VGA, DisplayPort, HDMI, or auto. We leave it on auto. And then finally, this is the menu setup. So in here, we can choose to change the brightness and the contrast. Here we can also select the source. Color, we have the different, we can choose between RGB or YPB PR. Usually you would just leave it as RGB. You have a reset button there. Display, you can choose what aspect ratio you want, 4:3, 5:4, 16:9. And we also have a sharpness control as well. We have the menu language, we have rotation. So if you want to permanently rotate this, you can actually do that. So for example, if you've got this on a portrait setup, instead of having to look at the menu sideways, you can actually rotate the menu to fit it. You have the transparency of the menu, the timer of the timeout, 20 seconds, and you can reset the settings here as well. Now, personalize, this is really cool. So you can actually choose the shortcut keys and which one you want. So what I usually like to do is I like to have the brightness and contrast and the input source because those are the ones I usually adjust the most. And then you can choose to see currently the LED is on and we can just turn that off. So if that bothers you, if you're in a dark setup, you don't want that light on, you can do that as well. I like to have it on just because I know that the monitor is on. And you can choose to have the USB on during standby or off during standby. So what that means is you might be able to charge some devices. Now you're not going to get a lot of charge, but you might be able to get some charge from it. And you can reset this menu as well. The last one, you can look at the display info. So this is the model, the input source, and the current resolution and refresh rate. Now you have a thing called DDC/CI. Now this is a protocol that allows the transmission of data and controls of brightness, contrast, RGB to your computer. So I would leave this on. For example, if you have a color accuracy software, this will actually take control and allow you to manipulate those parameters. Even Dell has their own software enabled to do that, which is pretty cool. So LCD conditioning, we'll come back to that. This is your service tag, which I've blurred out, reset, other settings, and then you have a factory reset. Now, LCD conditioning, what that does when we turn this on, we get this prompt. So this feature will reduce minor cases of image retention. Depending on the degree of your image retention, the program may take some time to run. Do you wish to continue? So essentially, if I click this, it's going to cycle through different colors. So image retention happens mainly when you leave something on the screen for too long, and then when you change it, you can see like a ghosting or like a previous kind of burn of that image. I've never had that happen before on a Dell monitor, but it's good to know that they do have this built in to try to fix that. But if you're using this day to day, you pretty much don't have to worry about that at all. So we're just going to cancel that, and then eventually it'll take us back to the main screen. And so that's a tour of the menu of the P2419H. All right, now let me just quickly compare these two stands. So this is the new 2019 version. This was the old P2419H. So as you can see, it's the same bracket, you can use the same. But as you can see from this top view, the footprint of the monitor base is actually a lot smaller. So that's really, really good. You can fit more monitors, you have more desk space. But not only that, you can see from this shot here that the actual stand shaft is actually a lot thinner and not as bulky. You can see the thickness comparison there. So it is a lot more slim, a lot more streamlined. And I think that's a good change. It's a welcome change. And hopefully it doesn't compromise on the stability of the monitor. Now, just for argument's sake, this is the new 19 version. And I can put this on the old stand and vice versa. So that's a really, really nice thing that Dell does. It's all backwards compatible. Now this is the two different models side by side, 19, 17. As you can see, there is no border. This one does have a border. This one is borderless. I'll see if I can get a signal in later to show you how much border is left. In terms of the height, pretty much the same level of adjustment. It's just that obviously one is a lot more wider, which is this one because of the borders. This one can be a lot thinner. Same range of movement, same tilt and everything. Now, if you can see from this top-down view, it's a bit hard to see, but this monitor is ever so slightly thinner, which is really, really nice. They're obviously making improvements, not as heavier, not as bulky, which is great. Okay, so this is a quick look at the two monitors. So we have the P2419H, P2417H. You can see that the borders are a lot more thicker and a lot more thinner on these ones. Both of these are actually set to their factory default. Now, obviously the camera can't really do justice to the actual color, but both are looking really, really nice, really, really sharp. And yeah, this is a picture that I took from New Zealand. You may not be able to notice, but this is just like maybe half a centimeter taller. This is the same height, but it's just extending out a little bit more. We've got a little bit of thinner bezel as well. As you can see that the power button and all the controls have moved. So now they're on the underside, so that actually show at the front, which is really nice. You know, it helps with the general aesthetics of everything. So I'm just going to turn off the lights to give you an idea of how, rich these colors are and how bright these colors are. So this is the P2419H by Dell. Great monitor, really solid build, really great overall performer. Now, if you're looking for a new monitor, I would definitely recommend this. Dell products do last you a very long time. If you take good care of the monitors, they're gonna last you 6, 7, 8, even 10 years. So I would highly recommend these. The color doesn't degrade that much and the brightness doesn't decay that much, especially if you buy the P series. So I would say that if you were wanting for longevity, stick to the P series, especially if you're going to be using it every day. If you're only going to be using it once in a while, maybe go with the S series. It's a bit cheaper. But even comparing between the 17H, the 19H, I will go with the 19H just because it is a newer screen. It does look a lot nicer. Depends on if aesthetics matter for you or if budget matters for you. The next video I'm going to upload, I've got 2 of these and putting them onto a monitor arm. So if you want to look at that video, stay tuned, stay subscribed to watch out for that. But I hope you like this video. Like it if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or any comments, and I'll try to get around to answering those for you as soon as I can. Subscribe to see more videos like this in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one.